What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Full Court Talk podcast. This is episode 42. As you guys can see, Miles is back. We got CJ in his new shirt, looking good.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Spence. Thank you.
No
Thank you.
problem, no
Fresh to
problem.
death.
But we got some really
Mm.
good topics. There's a lot happening right now. So obviously, I think as excited as CJ and Miles are for this, the Warriors and Lakers could be a possible 7-8 matchup for the play-in tournament. Why are the Warriors winning? I don't know. I think it's going to be great. The second topic, Nikola Jokic or Chris Paul for MVP, shouldn't be discussed, but it's being discussed. What's going on in Indiana? If you guys don't know, there's a lot happening. For once, they're in the news, and it's not for good reasons. And the last topic, who is your pick for Rookie of the Year, LaMelo Ball or Anthony Edwards? So we have a ton to get to. So I want to hear from you guys first. So, what do you guys think about the Lakers being in the play-in tournament? And if it was to stay the same with the Lakers and Warriors, who do you have moving on to be that seventh seed?
If the Warriors win, I'm gonna deactivate my Twitter account. Just bar none. I'm kidding. No.
I
Like
second it.
I, yeah, I think we're pretty much locked in for 7-8 Warriors. Just a matter of who's 7, who's 8. But with the Lakers being 3 games ahead, I mean, I'm not like the only thing I'm scared of. Obviously, is just Steph going off. But if you throw 3 guys at him, you have to make someone else. Like I would be happy with losing to Andrew Wiggins instead of Steph going for 60.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah. Um, well, is there like no chance for the Lakers to be at the sixth at all,
There's a
even if they
chance.
went out?
Um,
Yeah.
I
There's
was
still a
looking at the
chance.
stand or the
Yeah.
schedule ahead. So the Lakers, like I said earlier, they have the Knicks, which is a tough game, but they have the Rockets, Pacers, and
Yeah.
Pelicans, 3 winnable games.
Hmm.
The Blazers
Yeah.
have the Rockets, which is a easily like that's an easy win for them.
Yeah.
But they also have the Jazz, the Suns, and the
Yeah.
Nuggets. So they have a tough
Mhm.
road ahead.
Yeah.
Mm,
So there's a chance that the
Yeah.
Blazers move down to that seventh or eighth spot. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, if the Jazz choose to sit everyone, the Suns choose to sit everyone. I don't think the Nuggets will,
yeah.
but there's a
Yeah.
possibility they just say, "Hey, we're fine where we are. Sit everyone, rest them for the
Yeah.
playoffs." You never know.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
The Lakers really have to go 4-0 to kind of
Yeah.
solidify themselves at the
Yeah.
six.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird at the point in time that we have in the season, but as of right now, this is probably what the spot where things have to align for seeding and everything. So I mean, like you guys both said, like if the Lakers end up being in the seventh seed and the Warriors end up in the eighth seed, like yeah, it's going to be like obviously entertaining for everybody, in the NBA world. But like Miles said, the Warriors win, I'm deactivating everything. I'm, I'm going off. I'm just zero dark 30 mode for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Yeah, but like I mean, I'd be doing a disservice to my favorite franchise if I don't say the Lakers, right? See, but
Yeah.
the thing is, like Miles said, like Steph can easily go nuclear and score 60 and just will the Warriors to win. You know what I mean? And the Warriors are surging. They might have some bad losses, but they're also winning games. And then like for us, like it's like getting everybody acclimated again with the injuries and everything. I understand everybody's going through it, but it's just being a franchise like the Lakers, there shouldn't be no excuse. But I mean, obviously I have them winning. I hope they win out so we don't get in the play-in tournament. Nobody wants to be in the play-in tournament. Like it's crazy because LeBron said it's good for the NBA, and then he switched back once we were in that position, right? And so like
Mm,
nobody wants to be in the play-in, bro. Just nobody wants to. But yeah, I'm hoping we can avoid that. But yeah, in the sake of the topic, like if we do meet the Warriors, and obviously I have the Lakers winning, LeBron is not gonna let it happen, bro. As much as I love Kobe over LeBron's not gonna let the Warriors beat him, even if it's just a playing game, bro. He's sick of them. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
If it were
So
any other team, he'd be like, it's all good.
yeah,
But
but since it's Steph and the
not that
Warriors, he's
Oakland
like,
or the
no. Oh man,
we got receipts right here.
we got receipts, bro. Oh man, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Obviously, I have the Warriors winning. Just I'm a very biased Warriors
Yeah,
fan. You guys know this for
yeah,
at least this
yeah,
part. I
Yeah.
mean, the way Steph has been playing, he's been insane.
Yeah.
He torched Lou Dort, and that's very tough to do. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Mhm.
averaging like 35 after the All-Star break. Andrew Wiggins is averaging, I want to say, 20 after the All-Star break. Draymond is
Yeah.
finally coming alive on offense. He's actually shooting the ball, which is insane. Um, but like with all that being said, the Lakers are still the Lakers. You still have LeBron, AD, Drummond, CJ's favorite Kuzma, bro. He's been going off, right? Um,
Always a
Man.
favorite.
Bro, you know what? Hey, sorry, Spence. I'd rather lose to the Warriors than have a Kuzma 40-point game, bro. I'm telling you right now, man.
That's crazy, bro.
I hate Kyle Kuzma, man. But
yeah,
yeah, go ahead. My
the
bad.
other night he took a very bad three when he was 1 for 10 from the field. So Kuz,
Dude, don't
Kuz.
remind me, bro.
But
Yeah.
you
Dude,
know,
imagine if Kuzma was the one who took that backwards layup that THT took.
Oh,
Remember that,
bro.
CJ?
Yeah, dude.
You
Hey,
would have been done.
bro.
CJ
Oh my
would have
God. Anybody
deactivated right
else?
there.
Yeah, bro. I would have deactivated for that reason, dude. Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, like the Warriors are in this position because they played down to their comp sometimes, and they never play up
Yeah.
to their comp. They've been notorious to do this for years. Even when they were in the golden years with KD, they still played down. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited for a play-in tournament, just because it puts the Warriors in a position to possibly get to a higher seed, um,
Yeah.
and the ability to play the Lakers and possibly knock off LeBron in the first round or first portion of the playoffs would be amazing
Yeah.
as a Warriors fan. Um, but I mean, Anthony Davis looks like he's officially back, averaging what 40 over the last two, and then LeBron is a little bit of a toss up, I guess, because acclimating him to the offense is going to be easy. But I think getting him to run with Drummond might be difficult because he hasn't had much burn with him. But we'll see. The Lakers have a very easy 4 games, other than the Knicks, going forward. So maybe they can like get into that 6th seed and out of the play-in. Obviously, the Blazers have the Jazz, the Suns, and the Nuggets and the Rockets. So that's a much tougher road for them. Um, but we'll see. If the standings are the same, I'm hoping my Warriors win. Even though the Warriors could still make the 8th seed, I really want them to be the 7th seed so we can beat the Lakers. But that's it. That's all I want. Just beat the Lakers.
I was gonna say, hopefully for your sake, you guys at least get the 8th seed. I'd take
Yeah.
you over Memphis and San Antonio for sure.
Yeah,
But
I think
Fair.
so too.
Yeah.
if we don't win the chip this year, I need that playing game. I need it.
Well, I think
Same.
with the you guys think the Lakers have a chance for the championship this season with how it's going so far?
Realistically speaking, I would say it'll be tough. It's hard to become healthy going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what's going on with LeBron, how severe it is. Maybe they're doing a smoke screen with what AD had just said. I'm not too sure, but this season, like it kind of reminds me of the '04 season where the Lakers went all the way and then lost to the Pistons. Because they had all these guys, big names, Karl Malone, GP, obviously Kobe, Shaq, and then they came up short. And I'm not saying Brooklyn's a defensive juggernaut, but it's just, it's kind of a reflection of that '04 season. So, I mean, if we make it all the way to the finals and lose to Brooklyn, then that's fine. I mean, I'll be sad, but it's just, it'll be tougher this time around. AD's looking like he's back, but the big question mark is LeBron,
Yeah.
like, because LeBron is the most important player on the team. So, yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough to read.
Yeah.
If I had to
and
bet my money, I'd say no. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that we've seen that AD can't carry a team, so if LeBron is out, there's no trusting Anthony Davis to win you games while LeBron's out.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I think just there's just so much going wrong. It's honestly the worst possible time to lose your two
Agreed.
primary ball handlers. It's not just LeBron, it's Schroeder too.
Yeah.
There's no, like we saw it last year with the Clippers, you can't just piece it all together the last 2 weeks before the playoffs. Like you need that time. Unless you're the Brooklyn Nets. I think the Nets are the only team who can do that because of how talented those guys are. And not only that, but there's so much competition in the West. The Clippers are playing with house money. Even like I know Jamal Murray's hurt, but Jokic is absurd. Like there's no one impacting the game. Like yeah, exactly. Like there's no one impacting his team more than Jokic.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see either of them, but obviously we'll have to go through them if we want to go to the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to be the toughest thing. It's like, even when you get to the finals, like you could still possibly face Giannis. You could possibly face the Heat, the Nets. Celtics are still looking okay. There's a lot in the East that would be afraid for you guys because there's a lot of talent now. So are you guys ready to play defense against teams like that? I think that's the big question.
Yeah.
But
true.
We'll see. On to the next topic. So this has been going around, I think, because of Nick Wright and other media outlets, but Nikola Jokic for MVP or Chris Paul for MVP. I think when you think of what Chris Paul has been able to do, I think that's more so what they're aiming for. How he took a Suns team that wasn't even in the playoffs last year to the second seed, possibly a first seed if it shakes up that way. But to read you guys their at least Chris Paul stats, he's averaging 16 points a game, 4 rebounds, 9 assists on 49% from the field, 39% from 3. Jokic is averaging 26 points a game, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 56% from the field, and 40% from 3. So with those numbers, who would you say is the MVP?
Embiid.
Wasn't expecting that.
No, but I mean it's clear cut, bro. Based on the numbers alone and the impact, like Mal said, it's obviously Jokic and like Nick Wright. He's a LeBron groupie. I don't listen to Nick Wright, bro. Honestly, but like you see like what he's been doing for the Nuggets even before Jamal Murray went down, and now even more so with him out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like MPJ has transformed himself, but I think a lot of that has been Jokic too, because obviously how he's finding him, hitting his spots on the stride and all that. But bro, like we talked about this in previous podcasts, Spence, like when have you seen a big man doing what he's been doing? Putting up the numbers that he has. Like, obviously like I'm not saying he's the best big man of all time, but it's just the impact that he's having on the team, how he's like dishing, scoring, rebounding, doing just literally about everything. You know what I mean? And if you think about it, like the Nuggets are solid, but you take Jokic out, that team, I don't even think it makes a postseason, even with the way that MPJ is playing,
I agree.
And so like, so the way that, Jokic is carrying the team, especially with Jamal Murray out, it's MVP consideration and it's MVP numbers. So I think he definitely deserves it. And that's not disrespectful to Chris Paul because Chris Paul, like he's transformed the OKC Thunder and then now he's doing it for the Phoenix. But then again, you got to think about it like this. Like he has Booker and D Book, man, he's a Kobe disciple. See what he's doing. DeAndre Ayton, like everybody's stepping up, right? But I feel like even if you take Chris Paul out now, like the Suns will be okay. Even obviously they have a high seed, but you take Jokic out now, the Nuggets can, they're not going to do so well.
Yeah.
So, I definitely have Jokic as the MVP over Chris Paul.
I always love that argument for MVP. Like, just take the guy off of the team, and what is the team? I know it's kind of incomplete because obviously that money goes somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But also it depends on what everyone's criteria is. I think this award specifically has been so tough to judge year to year because ever since Kobe and Nash, it was stats or just eye test. And in this case, Jokic has both. Yeah. Like if you watch Denver games, the offense runs through him all the time, except for when he's on the bench. And he creates shots for himself, for his teammates, grabs boards, brings it full court. Like, yeah, what big man does that now? And yeah, his numbers are better than Paul's. I love Chris Paul and what he's been doing, but yeah, he's playing alongside Devin Booker and a and a pretty good supporting cast. So I think it's Jokic easy.
Yeah, and I think that's a good argument between, Kobe and Nash, because it's almost a similar case, because Kobe had the stats, but Nash had the effectiveness, I guess. Pretty much the same thing with CP3, but I'm still going Jokic. Jokic is he's been insane. He made Aaron Gordon look efficient, which is hard to do because that man is super inefficient. But I mean, even with Jamal Murray out, he's kept them afloat and made them look like a comparable team. I think even like staying afloat without your secondary scorer is tough, but then getting, I guess, Michael Porter Jr. to become that secondary guy and step into that role mid-season is impressive. And I think what Chris Paul has done obviously is amazing. He's transformed 2 franchises in 2 seasons.
2 seasons, yeah.
He made Shai Gilgeous into almost what he is now. I think he's been amazing for the Thunder, even though he's out now. Even though Devin Booker has taken a step back, he looks like a much better, more comfortable player than he has been in the past. DeAndre Ayton looks like a future big that anyone could build around. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens going forward for that franchise. But is Chris Paul going to be the MVP? No, I don't think he deserves it. I think Jokic does, for sure. I mean, with the record of 44-24, he's just 4 wins behind the Suns. So you can't even put the record into his argument. And as a center, being a triple-double threat is insane. We've never seen this before. If you have him on your fantasy team, you're very lucky because he does literally everything for you. And I think where he gets a knock is defense. But I think defense, he's been better since he slimmed down. I think he averages over a steal a game and a block a game. So he's been impressive on that end. Just doesn't get the highlight blocks or highlight steals that other bigs get. So he gets a knock for that. But I think it should be a plus because he's been more effective on both ends of the season than he has been in the past. And for Nick Wright, I think he's only saying this for the media numbers. And because Jokic is this big old white dude that I guess isn't as exciting to everyone, he's not going to get the MVP. But I think the narrative alone, Jokic has built one for himself, and he deserves the MVP award. If not him, there's more people deserving than just Chris Paul. LeBron James before the injury. You got Steph Curry. Even Giannis is up there, even though less people have been talking about him. Joel Embiid. There's so many more deserving players than CP3, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, Nick Wright is Nick Wright. And he's going to say some stupid stuff to get on some kind of Bleacher Report. So it is what it is. But one of the most interesting things to come out of last week, and I guess this week, Nate Bjorken and Indiana and what's going on with them. So I guess I'll summarize. From what I read, the problem is that the Pacers front office didn't consult anyone on the team about Nate Bjorken when TJ Warren had history with the coach with the Phoenix Suns in 2015 and 2017. They only consulted the Raptors head coach, Nick Nurse, who Bjorken served under. And that's concerning because I don't know why you're talking to an opposing team's head coach about your new head coach. And you could do that, with anyone, but why would you rely solely on just one person? That's a red flag. And I guess this all started with Warren. As soon as the Bjorken deal was done, he, I guess, requested a trade. And after that didn't happen, he then got hurt and opted for surgery to end his season, essentially, just so he didn't have to play for Nate Bjorken. And that's telling if that's true. And I
Yeah.
think the other night, I think it was a couple nights ago, Goga Bitadze and Greg Foster got in an argument with Nate Bjorken on the court, which happens from time to time. And Goga and Greg Foster were suspended by the front office. Interesting. It's a very weird situation. And apparently he runs weird offenses with Sabonis as the playmaker. I guess to run him as a Jokic and Brogdon off ball. Now we all know Brogdon is a very good playmaker and a solid
Yeah.
player all around. So I'm not sure why you'd run him off ball. Sabonis is a good playmaker, but he's not Nikola Jokic. So
Yep.
it's weird. It makes no sense. And if this is all fake, whatever. It's all fake. Move on from there. If it's real and it's true, Indiana has a very interesting offseason ahead of them. And they have to figure out who they want to move on from, TJ Warren or Nate Bjorken. But what do you guys think?
Oh man, go ahead, Mouse.
It just sucks when a team has so much talent and either like the franchise or the front office is just so messy. Like you can tell the players are like not even down for their coach like that. And you mentioned TJ Warren opting for surgery instead of waiting out so he could actually play this season. They really have to figure it out because they're right there in terms of the playoffs. The Pacers, they're in the 10th seed, and I mean get a solid coach in there. I mean you just had Nate McMillan. Look what he's doing with the Hawks right now.
Yeah.
So just get a good coach in there. They have Levert, they have Brogdon, they have Sabonis. You can do a lot with that in the East. So hopefully they can fix their coaching situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree. It's just, Sabonis, you're wasting some of his prime years right now with a season like this. And like to tell you the truth, like remember I actually spent like I didn't even know like the complete gist of everything that was going on with the Pacers. And like I mean seeing it on Twitter and seeing it unfold and seeing players get into it with coaches, like it's just there's a lot of turmoil going on right now for that organization. And like Miles said, like they had a good coach with Nate McMillan, and like I really don't understand why, they moved past him and instead hired a coach who they asked an opposing coach for input on. Like you're trying to hire somebody. I don't think that's the right way to do it, but then again, I don't know how the business of the NBA works. But I mean, if anything, bro, like I say they should have tried to make a run at Alvin Gentry as opposed to who they have right now, because he's not doing so well. And like you said, like I feel like Gentry would have fit Brogdon and Sabonis' play style much better, because right now, like Sabonis is no Jokic, so I don't know what he's trying to do with the offense that he's running. And like I think Sabonis, like he definitely thrives more off of getting his own and scoring as opposed to playmaking. So it's just it sucks seeing a team go through it like this, because like it's obviously a lot of distractions on their end, and as a result, players are probably getting distracted too, and they're not performing up to the standards of the organization. So yeah, hopefully they can figure it out, but I don't see him lasting past this season. That's pretty much a done deal. Like I would be surprised if he wasn't fired any sooner.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because you have a choice between TJ Warren, who was a star in the bubble. People compared him to Michael Jordan. He was that great in the bubble.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have a coach who doesn't seem liked by the entire team. Not only that, he runs questionable offenses, and it just seems like it's a good idea to move on from him, regardless if these rumors are true. And it's interesting to see that this team with all this talent is just kind of floundering at the bottom. We know Karis LeVert is a very good player. He's been very good with the Pacers so far in his little time there. Brogdon has been excellent almost all season. And they have all these guys who are playing well individually, but as a team, they're just not gelling. And I think that all comes down to the coach. I mean, you even have Miles Turner, who has been much better this season. Uh, Arguably was a defensive player of the year before his injury. Um, but it's tough because with a team that's never in the news, and then this is their first time pretty much in the news. It sucks to have it be so negative.
Yeah.
It's tough. So as a fan, I don't know how I'd feel right now. Uh, it's not fun to see your team being exposed like this. At least what we think is exposure, but we'll see what happens with them. I'm excited to see what happens in terms of what they do with Nate Bjorken. If they
Yeah.
want to trade TJ Warren, the Warriors will take him. He's a good player. I think he'd fit well. But on to our last topic. Who is your pick for rookie of the year? So as you guys know, LaMelo Ball went down with a wrist injury, but he is back now, and he's playing very well. Anthony Edwards, as of late, has been phenomenal. And I will say that I was very wrong about Anthony Edwards. He's been incredibly good for them. But who do you guys have as your rookie of the year, even with LaMelo being out for a little bit?
I'm gonna have to go with the Ball brother still.
Yeah.
I know he's played 21 less games, but I think his impact game to game is much more than Anthony Edwards, especially because the Hornets are still in the playoff hunt while the Wolves have been out of it for like what 1 to 2 weeks now. Edwards
Whole
obviously
season,
had
but
that crazy poster on
yeah.
poor Yuta Watanabe. Got to do his Asian brothers like that, but but I mean, like he's fun to watch. He's a great interview, and I'm looking forward to how he develops these upcoming years, especially in Minnesota. Hopefully, they don't kill his career like they did Wiggins.
Yeah.
And arguably
Um,
Carl.
but I mean,
Yep.
sorry. Oh
Arguably
yeah, Carl.
Carl
Yeah,
too.
Carl too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, just Ball is he has more of an impact on winning, even with all those veterans on that team. Like he has all those veterans buy in and support.
Yeah.
So for that, I'm gonna go with LaMelo.
Yeah. I mean, bro, I just want a quote from a great scholar. They once said, "Never lost." And so, LeVar Ball, bro, he had the vision, and it's working out for him. I have LaMelo winning Rookie of the Year just because, like, his stats are across the board: points, rebounds, assists. Like when he's on, like he's basically feeding the whole stat sheet, bro. And if you have him on fantasy, like you said earlier about Jokic, hey man, you must be winning because LaMelo, even though he went down, like he impacts the game in so many ways.
Yeah.
Obviously, he favors going to Miles Bridges, but it's just I mean, I personally thought that he would have a struggle in his early years in the NBA, but he's proven me wrong because his game is just so smooth. He
Yeah.
does things that he was doing in high school, which is crazy. And that's no disrespect to Ant Edwards because bro, Ant-Man, he's been putting up crazy numbers. He's had 40-point games in multiple instances. And so like Miles said, I can see him being a star, but it's just more so I hope Minnesota doesn't, stunt his growth per se, because you could argue that they did that same thing for Wiggins and Cat. And, look at how Wiggins is thriving now. So yeah, and he's very entertaining. Those post game interviews are hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
It's natural, you know what I mean? And he just wants to hoop, as you can see, the incident the other day with Cat and Jimmy Butler, he downplayed it and he was just like, hey man, we're just playing ball. And so it's close, but at the same time it's not, because
Yeah.
LaMelo has proven from the jump that he's more deserving. Ant-Man, he had to get his feet wet a little bit longer in order to get his groove going. But he's definitely going to be a star, bro, because he's a bucket. We were both wrong about him in the beginning, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I just have LaMelo winning it all. He's just so comfortable out there.
Yeah. I actually have James Wiseman. No, I'm just kidding.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Hey, he has a case too.
Yeah, he does.
No, I got LaMelo. He's been. I think it depends on what you want from a rookie standpoint. Do you want consistency or you want growth over the season? LaMelo has consistently just been amazing all season. Every night he has some kind of highlight, whether it's his passing ability or his shot making ability.
Or
He's
icing
been
his
amazing.
knees.
He's insane. And I think it's crazy because LeVar always said the third one's going to be the best one. LaMelo's going to be the best one.
Yeah.
He served it right.
Yep.
LaMelo has been arguably the best ball brother out there. And I think something that hasn't been said is Edwards was given the starting job right away almost, as opposed to LaMelo, who had to fight and claw his way into that starting position. And even though like he didn't get a lot of PT at first, he really built on every game, every minute he played, he just fought his way into that starting spot. And I think something else that is interesting, that Terry Rozier looks like a phenomenal player next to LaMelo, which was tough because Rozier was written off last season. He was said as one of the most inefficient players, but now he's constantly dropping 40 pieces, hitting game winners, hitting buzz readers. Terry Rozier looks like a great player for them. And I think LaMelo has something to do with that. And with Anthony Edwards, I mean, the kid has it. He is good. He's a hooper. He's a bucket getter. I think defensively he'll get better as the seasons go on. But the kid drops 40 pieces and scores in bunches. He's going to be a scary sight for offense or defenses for years to come. And I don't want to play down whatever he's done because he's been amazing, but he just doesn't have the same pedigree as LaMelo in terms of what he's been able to do. Like Miles said, like he affects every part of the game. And I think that's what pushes LaMelo over the edge to win the Rookie of the Year for me, is because he's just consistently doing everything for his team. Defensively, he gets steals. He passes the ball phenomenally. He has a great shot-making ability. I think he's just going to be one of the best point guards in our time as his career goes on.
Yeah. True.
I'm glad that you brought up how he had to fight for the starting job because, cocky 19-year-old kid coming into the league, he could have very easily fumbled his opportunity. And honestly, that's what I was expecting because just because of how he carries himself and his play style, like he would try to jack up threes like Trae Young and Steph.
Yeah.
He hasn't really done much of that, and when he has, he's made them more than he's missed. And it took him only like a week or two to win that starting job. Yeah. So he made his impact right away, did not waste any moment. So I want to reward that too.
Yeah, and his ability to, I mean, I think he's a triple-double threat almost every night now because he's such a tall, like, point guard. I think he's like 6'7", 6'8". For a point guard, he's got good size. And just his vision, it's insane. I mean, his first pass, like his first assist back from his injury, just a full court underhand, just dot. It was beautiful.
Yep.
So I think LaMelo, for sure, Rookie of the Year. I don't think there's much of an argument you could meet. There's an argument for Edwards, but I think what LaMelo's been able to do is just insane.
Yep.
But
agreed.
That's going to do it for us in our 42nd podcast. So thank you to Miles for coming back on. It's always fun recording with you guys. But
thanks, brother. Always good to be here.
Of course.
Yeah.
But as always, please check out our links down in the description. Please like, comment, and subscribe. But that's going to do it for us. So catch you guys in the next one.